Welcome back to the 76 Capital Sports Leadership Show. My name is Wayne Kimmel, managing partner of 76 Capital. As you know, 76 Capital is a venture capital company that invests in passionate, smart, and nice entrepreneurs who are launching game-changing tech startups across the sports, media, and entertainment industries. And on this show, I get the opportunity to interview top sports entrepreneurs, executives, and athletes who are shaping and many times changing the sports business industry. This show is being taped live from our studio here at 76 Capital. Really excited about that. And if you're watching on YouTube, you can see that. So you can subscribe on YouTube. You can subscribe through Apple Podcasts. You can subscribe through Spotify or our 76 Capital website. Now, today, our guest is a really special guest. It's Andy Edwards. Andy is the CEO of GeoSnapShot. Andy is also the CEO of our new portfolio company, which is GeoSnapShot, which we're really excited about. And I want to just give a little bit of background. You know, GeoSnapShot is a powerful AI media distribution platform that allows users to instantly share photos from an event and organize them so they can be found quickly and easily. So, Andy, welcome to our 76 Capital Sports Leadership Show.
Thank you so much, Wayne. It's an absolute pleasure to be here. And really, you know, it's fantastic to have 76 Capital on board as a lead investor in the last round and the shareholder. So thank you for that.
Well, you're welcome. And we're just excited to have this conversation. If everyone's listening, they may catch a little bit of an accent here. Where are you coming in from?
Yeah, so it's a bit of a confusing one. So yeah, we're live today in Philadelphia. So I've come to Philadelphia. I live in Australia, but I'm English by birth. So you know, it's a multinational business. It's a multinational Andy that you see here today.
It's a little bit of multinational accents, a little bit of a mix of both, right?
Yeah. Well, I can put on the Aussie, mate, if you want me to, but I can also do the full-on English if you want me to as well. But yeah, I try and be as communicative and as understandable as I can to the audience.
Well, welcome, and we're really excited to have you here. We're really excited to have you as part of our overall 76 Capital portfolio. As a portfolio company, part of our overall 76 Capital family. I know everyone here at 76, including Chad and John and the rest of the team here, really excited to have you here and with us, and excited to be an investor in your company. So I think maybe from your perspective, share with us on our Sports Leadership Show, what is GeoSnapShot and what do you hope to have it be someday?
Yeah, it's an amazing journey being an entrepreneur and a founder of an organization. So I set up GeoSnapShot about 8 years ago now, when we first got our really first investment into the company. My vision for the company is really around memories of people's lives. I come from a technology background, or technology and media, and I really like the join of those two things. And I really saw a gap in the marketplace for the distribution and monetization of photos and videos, right the way from base level, grassroots sports clubs, you know, right the way up to the top level. There are professional organizations, of course, that play in that field, but I wanted to set up a technology platform that could be picked up easily by photographers and by any type of sports organization. And we give them return on investment. We give them a way to distribute and monetize the media from their events.
Well, let's dig into that. I mean, I think it's a really interesting model. Obviously, we think it is. But I mean, talking about that, I mean, you're enabling these professional, in many cases, or sometimes just, you know, lay photographers to be able to take photos at different types of events, but then also be able to sell them, and the participants themselves, or whether it's their parents or whether it's their friends or spouses, to be able to then get these pictures. But how do you bring that all together and make it work?
Yeah, well, it takes quite a lot to bring it together, quite honestly. So if you think, as the audience here would recognize, memories of people's lives are captured at the highest level events. So let's take the New York Marathon, for example, right? It's obvious that you have a photography company there, photos are taken, they're professionally available to you from great organizations that support that. But we believe that memories are just as important, whether you're playing Little League, whether you're playing futsal, it doesn't matter, right? And for small sports organizations to be able to have a distribution platform, for them to choose which photographers they want at their events, to have some great AI technology that helps people find their photos and videos now, quickly and easily, it just isn't really available to them. It's a very fragmented market at the bottom there, where people are trying to solve the distribution problem, and they use Facebook or Dropbox or something else, right? To distribute these photos, and it's not acceptable anymore. They can generate a much better audience engagement, fan engagement, better ROI, and actually keep the memories of those players as they transition into higher level sports as they go. So we believe those memories are really important from the grassroots, but what we've developed is something that can be used from the grassroots right the way through to the top of the tree.
Well, I think that what you just described, this opportunity to be able to enable an event producer or a league to be able to have this opportunity. Well, first of all, even if they are using, say, Facebook or some other photo sharing tool, or it's not that easy for them, right? It's not really meant for that.
It's not meant for that. And that's the awful thing. It's both very time consuming for the person that's organizing. They have to give access to photographers to their Facebook page to enable photos to be uploaded. There's different types of photographers. Maybe, a committee member that's taking photos isn't there the next week, so there might be no photos available, right? But it's also really hard for the players and parents and participants to be able to search for themselves. You can't do that, on Facebook. And if there's 2,000 photos there, which is a small number of photos from an event, you've got to scroll through all of that. And by the way, when you download those photos, they're not high quality. So if you want to print them or keep them or do something else with them, it's just, as you say, not the right mechanism. And what we've done is developed a technology platform which is dedicated towards what sports organizations, sports participants, and sports photographers need to be able to help them do this.
So who are some of the organizations that you work with today?
Yeah, so we've worked with over 20,000 sports events in 130 countries now.
20,000 in over 130.
Yeah. Wow. It's amazing, right? And so with a technology platform, we enable that to be everywhere. Now we've got staff in Sydney and headquartered here in Denver, and we're really putting a big push into the North American market because we see so much massive activity. So we've supported everything from small events, five-a-side soccer tournaments and things like that, right the way up to, organizations that people would know, NFL Flag and various other, large sort of sporting events. We generally want organizations to be able to pick up and utilize the platform, but we embed our technology within their platform. So yeah, we've worked with equestrian and running and five-a-side and futsal and a huge number of organizations from rec right the way to the top.
And you've been saying we a lot, right? And you mentioned the team in Sydney, the team in Denver. Talk about your team and just, some of them and just how important, as I know how important they have been for the growth of the business.
I think it's one of the key areas that as a founder, you really need to double down on. And choosing great team members is really hard. But it's so important for the growth of the business. So I started the business literally supporting my wife's equestrian events in Australia. There's a lot of downtime. She had one horse and she's on that horse, for 12 minutes of a weekend. And so there's a lot of downtime for somebody like me, and I saw this gap in the marketplace. So I started by building the website myself. I started by building the iOS app myself, right? And you have to do that to really do all aspects of the business. So self-founded, self-technology to start off with. But as the business started growing, clearly you need a technology team. Clearly you need to get other people that believe in the vision, right? And you can't necessarily pay them what they're worth at that stage because you're a founding business. So we started off with a team in Australia. We built that team up. We found a great development team in India. And I love that team, dearly. They just do fantastic work. And now we were fortunate enough after the pandemic to come straight into the US. I could see before the pandemic we had great traction here, but after the pandemic, I doubled down on that. We got some great people working for us out of Denver. And now, fortunately, from the last fundraising round, we've been able to get a C-level team in place, which just springboards the organization, right? As a founder and a CEO of the organization, you need a great team underneath you with experience in the product, in the marketing, in the sales aspects, especially in a new territory for me, like North America. And we've been really fortunate in the team that we got. So yeah, it's incredible, and it really takes a lot of pressure off me. But it also is just fantastic to see them selling my vision and my dream.
Yeah, I mean, it must be special, right? To be able to sort of not only, certainly I know you're going, 24 hours a day on all different time zones.
Yep.
But to be able to have a team that you can trust, a team that is out there executing for you, must be a really big deal.
It's sensational. I mean, even this week, I was here last week in Denver. We had some big meetings, flew to Vegas for some and had some on video conference.
You went to Vegas without me?
Yeah, that's right. You're welcome anytime. Might be fun if we did that together. But it was great to see them leading the meetings and me being in the meetings as a kind of, I'm sort of in the background. I might get introduced, but they're leading, they're negotiating, they're operationally, running very large organizations. We haven't signed a few of those yet, so I'll hold my fire.
The next episode
we'll go through some big signs. But yeah, massive organizations, global organizations, billion-dollar organizations that we are, being projected into, and the team's doing a great job.
So what are some of these organizations saying to you? Like, why GeoSnapShot? Like,
it's incredible. So we actually hear a similar message from quite a lot of them. And that message goes something along the lines of, we capture media at our events. We either have our own photographers or we buy in professional photographers. We generally use some of those photos for marketing, but we don't do anything else with the photos or the video snippets, right? So, consequently, they're already incurring cost, but, in their KPIs for the year is fan engagement and better ROI. So they're already incurring cost of media production, photos and videos, but they don't have a sensible distribution mechanism, and they don't have a way to be able to monetize that to the audience group. So we hear that a lot of the time. So it's quite incredible. So we know that we're onto something.
So do you hear from groups or others, wait, we don't really need this GeoSnapShot thing? I mean, I got an iPhone here, right? I mean, I can just take my pictures, I'm good, but what do you say to, how does that, what do you say to that individual or that company?
Go ahead. Right? Because you've got to work with the willing. You've got to work with the people that kind of see it, that see where some of the gaps are in their business, and how they can improve that engagement with their fan base and their audience base, right? So, organizations that don't capture media well, don't engage their sponsors with branding, don't engage their fan base, will be left behind, right? As the media landscape with sports just continues to get better and improve. And the organizations that we're talking to that want to work with us, they really see that. They really see, the NASCARs of this world, right? They want to engage with their fan base more. They've got a ton of content. They've just never got it out to them before, for example, right? So these types of organizations are future thinkers. They are people that don't want to develop these things in-house. They've got enough technology roadmaps and enough things going on. They're willing to pull a partner in, and they understand that they already have this sunk cost. And for some of these organizations, they've got 1 million photos on CD-ROMs in a drawer, which is a memory of their whole sport over the last 20 years. Why isn't this available at some cost, right, to the audience base, so that you could go back and look at your sporting achievements, you know, and find those and have access to them?
I think that's a really great point, and I wanted to just actually kind of get to sort of the nuts and bolts of it, right? I mean, so using an example of, let's just say, a youth soccer tournament or something like that. How does it work from an on-the-ground perspective?
So from our perspective with that, the ideal situation for us is that we are the technology platform that supports that event. So our software and our photo gallery would get embedded into that soccer tournament's website. Okay, so the marketing team and the participants are all going to a trusted source that is marketed easily to enable the people to get their photos. Now, how do the photos get there? Well, if that tournament has their own photographers on site, no problems at all. You use your own. If other people, trusted people from that organization, want to take photos and add to that, that's fine. The organization is in charge of that. If that organization doesn't have professional photographers, we've got 15,000 photographers registered on our platform, many professional photographers all around the US. We can call on them to say, hey, you're going to get paid to be at this event. The organizer is going to pay you, but through our distribution mechanism, we can find those people. They can bring their own team along, and we can support it that way. So yeah, it's a really simple mechanism, and it gives the organization choice.
And then after the event or during the event, and when the pictures are there, they go right up, onto the site or and then the participants themselves, their friends, their family are able to access everything.
Correct. So there's a whole range of different privacy protection we can have if you want that for your event. So we can have password protection. You can only see your own photos. There's a whole range of things, just like there's bundling options for buying your multiple photos. But the key thing is that all the photos are in one place.
Right.
They're accessible by people who have access to those. It could be, as I said, through password protection or in an app. And the nice thing about that is, for the vast majority of those photos, they can be found through our AI technologies such as face recognition or even bib recognition. So what a participant wants to do.
You said bib recognition.
Yeah.
That's the...
Yeah. So runners wear bibs,
right.
But our technology reads all sorts of characters in a photo. So if you're, I don't know, from the side, running behind, something like that, but it's a great shot of you, slam dunking, and you've got a number 7 on your back, we can search for those photos by that number 7. Okay. We can also search for photos by things like brand, for example, a brand name on a shirt or a background. So some events want to show their sponsors, right? Some great photos. So let's search for that sponsor's name. Let's find those photos, and then they can easily do that. So the whole business now has really, the GeoSnapShot business has really expanded into be a secure way of storing, searching, distributing, and monetizing both photos and now videos from an event as well.
And that's the part I actually wanted to also really make sure we talk about, is the video side. I know you're really excited about that. It started as like just photos.
That's right.
Like, well, no, now it's video.
Well, it comes from two things really. It comes from my passion about the technology that we're using, and clearly, there's been a great push in all sorts of social media online now for video for some time. It's clearly a great way to engage people. Now, I believe in both. I believe in photos and videos. Still shots are still very powerful. You know, the kind of thing we hang on our wall, put on the fridge of our kids having a great time and having great achievements. But videos are used more and more. And, you know, we have great technology where we can do face recognition in video now as well. And we've got some other technologies, which perhaps for the next podcast, where we're starting to do some very unique things in terms of finding people's participation over longer pieces of video and bringing that together. So people that are doing live streaming, for example, these days of their events, and there's many of those, that's the kind of technology that we interact with to take a live stream and personalize that particular video for an individual player. So again, it's return on investment. That event has already invested in either the cameras or an organization to be there. Let's take that live stream and let's monetize it out to all of the participants individually, right, at that event for, you know, an extra clip of the ticket.
And that could be, you know, be able to monetize that could be from a brand. That's where the brands come in.
Yeah, so brands can be put on to photos and videos. There's a whole range of brand engagement opportunities that we have. But you know, this is about
it's also brand discovery too, right? That's a big part of it, where you're going to be in a situation where you may, for some of your customers, the ones who are running the events or running the types of the leagues or tournaments, things like that, where you're saying they're able to go, wait a second, that's a lot of people. There are a lot of people in this event who are running around with Nike sneakers.
Correct.
Well, we really thought most people were wearing Adidas there, or this, that, whatever it was. But now you're able to have that data from GeoSnapShot.
100%. And we might not know exactly how to use it, right, at this stage. But the interesting thing is engaging with our clients to generate the roadmap of what's important to them, right? So, for example, a large car racing business wants to know how many minutes a certain brand has been shown throughout that, you know, throughout that event.
Right.
And to do it manually is unbelievably tiresome and tedious, right? Another example of some of the things that we're doing in that area are soccer games. So think, you know, maybe some soccer leagues in Europe are wanting to take games, but provide very fast, automated video after the event about a specific player, so that in post-match commentary, they can pull up all of the action sequences of that particular player and then comment on that. So, you know, with brands, with this kind of technology, what we're doing is saying we're a technology platform. That's where we're building our IP, and we build it in conjunction with the roadmaps of these organizations.
Yeah, that's something that's really interesting. I mean, again, this idea of the business, what it was when you first started to where it is today. It must be exciting for you to see the growth.
I mean, it's sensational, really. I mean, I'm very much a forward looker rather than you know, looking backwards. So for me, I don't sort of celebrate and congratulate too much on what we've achieved. It's really about what the future is for us. But, you know, taking a business from an idea that I had in a muddy field, you know, with my wife riding a horse around, right, and now creating it into a global organization. You know, we deal in 100 languages and 44 different currencies. We've got a senior level team in the US here. For anybody to have achieved that so far, I'm very proud of our achievements to date, but I see such a future ahead of us that it's really exciting.
Well, it's been great, you know, working with you and Nancy and Simon and just all the players across the team. It's been amazing. When you talk about looking to the future, you know, what will the future look like in your mind?
Yep. The future is actually very simple. It is that GeoSnapShot is available at every sporting event in the world. All right. And whether that's just individual photographers that are there, they're using us, whether it's a sports league that are using us, whether we're embedded with some great other SaaS, technology, or whether we're supporting the Olympics. And I see all of those things in our future. I want to be ubiquitous around the world. I want us to be the place where memories of our life's achievements, which often happen through sports as we grow, are available forever through the platform.
Well, I said earlier, I get this opportunity to sit with amazing entrepreneurs and executives across sports. They're talking about fan engagement, engaging the fans of the future, enabling more people to have that experience. And that's what you provide. And that's what you, as you just said, that's what you're really looking to be able to do across every single sporting event.
100%. Yeah, 100%. Because I really believe that it's important to our lives. We want to see our kids growing up. You don't want to be sat on the side of a playing field with your iPhone going, trying to capture little Johnny in action, right? Let's leave that to the people that really want to do that have the cameras, that other professionals, whatever. You sit, you be present, right? And let's provide a service to you that enables you to have those memories. And I use a small event there, but at any level, right?
Sure.
It's important, and I want millions of sporting organizations to be picking up this technology and utilizing it at their events globally.
You just made me think of the picture, and I forget who the person was. Maybe you'll remember when LeBron James scored. He made a shot to be the #1 scorer in the NBA,
right?
And everybody was in the stands, and there was a picture of everyone holding up their iPhone and taking a picture. And there was one guy who was sitting there just watching,
right,
and taking it in.
Yeah.
And I think what you're saying is, in the world that you want to create, is that you want to flip that.
Be that guy that's present, right? Because we all know what it's like trying to capture stuff through our iPhone. Great, they're a great piece of technology. Nothing wrong with that. But you're not present. You see that at festivals a lot as well, right? Music festivals. Everyone's trying to get their, the video up there and working, whatever. Why? Why aren't we providing that to the fan base so that everyone can be present?
And provide it in a way where it's a value. It's valuable for everybody, right? Isn't that that's the thought?
That's the ecosystem. It has to be, right? I mean, it has to be something that the event is doing for a reason. Now, they're either doing that for sponsorship and engagement, and some of our organizations share photos completely free of charge, right? They pay us a license to do that, but they want fan engagement, and they know they can get that if the fans share these photos, which they've downloaded free of charge, in the social media channels. It's great marketing, right? Others want to create a new stream from it, a new revenue stream from it. But the fans want that engagement as well. They don't have access, the vast majority of times, to that information because the events and the event organizers don't have a distribution mechanism to the fan base. That's what we provide.
Yeah. Andy, this has been a phenomenal conversation. Really, really, interesting. And just, I love digging deep into the business of GeoSnapShot, hearing your vision. And as we start to wind down on our 76 Capital Sports Leadership Show, I know we're having so much fun, we could stay here all day. But it's one of the things I really love to hear about from entrepreneurs is what it's like kind of every day to be that CEO, to be that leader, and what you need to do, almost like on a personal level, of like how you able to get up every day and just keep moving forward and keep moving your team forward. Like, what are some of the things that you do?
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's challenges, right? I mean, there's no question about it. There's, you're running an organization that you've built from scratch. You've got great investors that, I'm personally very committed to. The business is very committed to providing, a fantastic result. But what drives us is that base level of our business. We're providing, memories of people's lives. Okay, and it's as simple as that. Now, how do we do that? With different organizations that we work with. Underlying all of that is the energy of everybody else around me. It is a phenomenal, wave of energy that comes, with you when your team is saying, got a great deal, this customer's doing this, we're about to sign this, we're building harder and faster and stronger. The product teams, smashing out some great product. The technology teams looking after everything in the background. You've got this. You feel supported. You feel very privileged. It's not easy every day, right? There's challenges, but your belief in the original vision is so strong that you keep doing that. And if you can invest other people in that, be it investors themselves or the team, then you've got something that's phenomenally powerful.
Well, I can't, have you here in Philadelphia and not mention one of the other groups from Philadelphia that's involved with GeoSnapShot.
Sure.
It was just Comcast.
Yep.
And NBC and their involvement. Yep. And of course, Jenna.
Yep.
And just talk a little bit about what it's meant to you and the company to work with such a large organization that's been really helpful to you.
Yeah, it's a real privilege. When an organization such as Comcast, the size and ability and the types of people that they have in there, selects GeoSnapShot as somebody that they want to work with. They're now a shareholder in GeoSnapShot. And what they've provided to us just in the first few months that we've been working with them through the sports tech program is access to all of their senior leadership in all of their media sectors. I mean, it is phenomenal to be able to sit down with the senior leaders from PGA and NASCAR and, Sports Engine and loads of the other organizations that they have, and talk to them about, tell me about what problems you're trying to solve as a business. In the media and technology side, what do you see as your future vision? And they give you hours of their time and they sit you down with their team and they're saying, how can we integrate this? How do we get this technology working? So you would never be able to get that access with those people if you approached them, right? So Comcast is an enabler for us, a fantastic enabler, not only for an investment in the company, a great name to have with us, but also from the media assets that they've been able to open up and the connections that obviously springboard from there as well. So very, very fortunate to have them on board, and the sports tech program is awesome. And we're part of that for life now, and we really feel it. So they're very close to us.
That's great. That's great. And I, look, I mean, it's one of the things that we are certainly want to be able to, augment a lot of the things that they're doing from a Comcast perspective and what they're doing, but also a lot of the things that, how we can help here at 76 and with you and our team here. We're just thrilled to have you as part of our portfolio here.
And that's already happened. So, I mean, already the introductions, your connections, in the industry, and the presence of 76 Capital, within us as a shareholder, and your introductions have enabled us to get to large organizations. And those organizations really see support from you personally and from 76 Capital, which enables us to get there faster, with those organizations than we would have done normally. So, all of these things help. And it's a fantastic partnership.
Well, it's great to hear. It's great to see. It's great to have you here in Philadelphia with us. So if people want to get in touch with you, how do they reach you?
Yeah, so the best way to contact us is either through the online system that we have. That goes through to our support team. And
that's geosnapshot.com.
Geosnapshot.com is the website. You'll find on there a little button where you can contact, or people can contact me directly. So it's andy.edwards@geosnapshot.com, and that will get through to me. And very, very happy to be talking to small organizations, large organizations, photographers, groups that have tournaments. We're really happy, and we've got a team here to support them in those conversations.
And anywhere across the world, right? As
anywhere across the world.
So doing the numbers, I saw this just before you walked in. You mentioned 130 companies. I saw 131.
131 on the new
website
one. Okay.
I saw there's 6.4 million participants that you've had.
Yep.
And the big number of 23.5 million photos uploaded.
Yeah, photos and videos, right? So, and it's very important to me. We never delete photos on our platform, and people think that's a bit crazy, but we don't delete them because they're memories of people's lives. Okay, so it's really important to me that we do that and we keep that, and we've got ways to minimize the costs in doing that. But yeah, that's what we do to enable people to go back and find their photos and videos should they need to.
That's amazing. Well, Andy, thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate you dropping in and spending some time with us on our 76 Capital Sports Leadership Show. And we look forward to doing it again soon.
Thanks, Wayne. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Take care.